Today we're going to show you how to fix up an extension cord. I'll be showing you how to put a commercial end on an extension cord, and that's number 12 wire. I guess it's 12-3. It's got 3 conductors inside of it. Looks like that. It's got a ground, a neutral, and your hot wire. And what you want to do first, come up here, take your connector apart, and it just lifts off there. It's got a little keeper right here. Make sure that stays in there, because that'll come out. And then you want to come in here. You got 3 screws. You want to remove them. And at the inside of it, you'll actually have 3 screws inside of it. You'll have a green one. That's your ground. And a lot of people break those off. Don't ever do that, especially if you're outside. That ain't a good deal. And then you've got your silver color. That's your neutral. Then you've got your gold color. That's your hot wire. So what we're going to do, we're going to start off first. I always like to start with my ground wire. That's my green one. And then I'll usually go around to my neutral wire. That's my white one. And I'll usually hook up my hot wire last. That goes on the gold screw. And you always want to make sure you use stranded wire. This is just for more or less for household stuff, but you can see the wire stranded. Got several strands. That's why they call it stranded. And you don't want to use a single wire. That's Romex. Do not use Romex. That's for like inside your wall. That's not made for extension cords. And usually you can tell Romex, if you'll bend it, it'll stay that way. That's a single wire. Do not use that in extension cord. So what we want to do first is come up here. I usually hold it up here. I usually go about 1.5 inches. You want to strip this insulation cable, protection cable, whatever you want to call it. Strip it back about 1.5 inches. So what you want to do, you only want to cut through the black part, just the insulation part. I'll usually come in here and go just deep enough to cut the insulation part. Let me see if I got it. Let me go just a little more. Try not to go too deep. If you go too deep, you'll end up cutting your insulation. Each wire is insulated to protect it from itself, and other wires. That's what gives it protection. Don't cut through that. If you split here and both of those connect, that's not a good deal. So what you want to do, like I say, split down about 1.5 inches. And probably be the best to take some side cutters. Usually once you get it started, it's pretty easy to do. Like I say, just cut it on around here. And once you get the outer covering off of it, you can spread your wires apart, and you'll see you've got paper in between it. That's like a filler, and it gives the cord strength. When you go pulling on it, it won't break the cord or pull your soft copper wires apart. Usually it won't, unless you just get crazy with it. See, there's the string in it to help give it strength whenever you're pulling on it. I want to remove all those. And now once you've got them all removed, the reason you only want to go so far on your insulation, whenever you put this back together, you want to make sure that your insulation goes back in there and stays on your clamp. You want to make sure you clamp to your rubber shield part here, and that's going to give your cord more strength. You don't want to do it like that, have it stripped too far, then that's not a good deal. Now what we're going to do, going to take some wire strippers, and if you look on the wire strippers, don't know if you can see it or not, but each one of those are labeled little notches here. So 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22 for their different size wire. And like I say, since this is number 12, that's your second little notch. You want to come in here. The reason I'll show you why. You want to come in here just about the depth you want your insulation to be. This little hole, but not in your copper part. You want just your copper wire, your bare wire, to be in it. And if you can gauge that, you can see you want to be. Let me cut one off here and I'll show you. Probably about 1/4 of an inch, maybe a little longer than 1/4 of an inch. And what I'll do when I use my strippers, I'll get just about my distance, then I'll turn my stripper just a little bit. That'll make a clean cut. You don't want to go too much, because you go cutting your bare copper wires off, and those are very thin. And I usually turn them clockwise, keep all the strands together. You want to make sure all your strands stay together when you insert them in your holes. You don't want to be frazzled out like that when you go sticking that in. That's not a good deal. It'll make it short out. Like I say, I always start with my ground, would be my green right here. I've got my wires loosened up, all my screws loosened up. You want to insert it in there. Like I say, make sure it goes in, but make sure your shield does not get on your copper part. You can look at it and tell when you're too far or not. Snug it up pretty good. Then you want to go to your silver screw. Make sure it's silver. And I always double check my strands, make sure they're still stranded good. And I always angle them in just a little bit, so they'll start in my hole straight without coming apart. See that? Trying to come apart. You gotta hold your mouth just right here. Try to put them in straight just like that. Get them in there just so far. You can look and tell. Snug it up pretty good. Usually your last one is your hardest. Like I say, I'll turn it in like that, try to go in straight. And then, like I say, make sure your hot wire goes on your gold color screw. Try to go straight in there. Like I say, don't go too deep. I think I raveled it out. Yeah, I did. See, you got to watch what you're doing here. Try to get it in there straight. And then snug him up. snug him up pretty good. Since I've got a cord that's new and I don't have an end on it, I didn't put that on first. But if you're starting with a cord that's already got an end on the other end, you want to make sure that you put that on first and put it on with the clamp part away from your plug-in. So I need to go just like that. And what you want to look for whenever you go installing these, if you look right here in the white part where it meets the plastic, there's just a little notch right here. Just a little notch right there. And what you want to do is look on the inside of this black plastic part. There's a notch right here. What you want to do is line those two notches up. When you get in there and find them, push them down to the white touches the black. I usually use a number 2 Phillips screwdriver. They only turn about 3/4 of a turn. They won't turn all the way in. That's how they work. Snug them up pretty good. You're good on that end. See what I was talking about here? I didn't strip off too much of that. I want to make sure my insulation, my rubber part, is on my clamp. So what I'll do here, I'll push in just a little bit. It should push up just a little more. See how you got just all insulation now? That's what you want. And you just line your little screw holes up here. I'm going to start them with a screwdriver. Make sure they're started. And I'm going to snug them up with an electric drill here. What you want to do just a little on each side. You want to keep that even. You don't want to tighten one side all the way, because it'll just watch your distance in your crack right there. See, that's just a little more than that. I want to take this one just a little more. Alright, to finish up with a regular screwdriver. Make sure they're pretty snug. Don't over tighten them. That's a good looking plug-in right there. That'll last for years, and that's pretty good. Pretty good for outside use. And what you want to do, if you're going to make a regular extension cord, here's the male part, or the female part I mean. That comes apart identically to that one. You put it on there and then you'll have an extension cord. Good to go. What I'm going to do, I do a lot of working with different tools at the same time. Not running them at the same time, but using different tools. Constantly switching drill, grinder, whatever stuff. And I need more than just one plug-in. But I don't want 2 or 3 cords in the way. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to show you how to take a regular household outlet, make an extension cord out of it, and make you a 2-plug extension cord. But what you want to remember, most outlets are 20 amp. That runs on a number 12 wire. That's what this is. And that's a number, that's a 20 amp outlet. You can always tell it's got the little notch here on your neutral. That's made for a 20 amp plug, or just a standard household plug like that one. You don't want to use number 14 wire on a 20 amp plug and expect it to hold up. A long cord, it won't work. The heavier your cord, find my number here. the lower that number is, the heavier your cord is. The number 10 will be even heavier than that one. It would hold better amps for a longer cord, more amp draw, whatever. Anyway, what we want to do here, usually these have got 1/2 inch knockouts in them, and what I usually do, find whichever one I want to knock out and just take your pliers, stab it in there, and that'll poke out the inside. Grab it and twist it out. I didn't have a box with not one out of it, but anyway, I got one here, just like I removed it. And this is actually a Romex connector. It's got a 1/2 inch knockout connector on it. Oh, I quit dropping it. That'll fit in there, just like that. And then you want to take your little nut here, get it started. I usually like to spin it around to where that, like that. Like I say, it doesn't really matter, but I just like to make it look halfway decent. And you can look and tell it's got little notches on it. You put your screwdriver on it, tap them and tighten them just a little. And a lot of times that'll turn on you. Take a pair of pliers, try to turn it back around just a little, straighten it up, make it look halfway decent. Loosen these screws up here. You open that up, that's where your wire goes. That's just another connector, like the end of that was. Like I say, you want to make sure you keep your rubber part on that so it don't get on your wires. And what I would do, I usually try to leave 6 inches sticking out, something like that. So I'm gonna make a mark right there. I want to do what we did earlier, cut through the center of this, just enough to cut it. You don't want to go in any deeper than the black part. Try not to cut your insulation on your other wires. Like I say, we'll open them back up. Get all your paper, your insulation on one side. I usually take side cutters, like I say, take them right here. Cut through that, get your paper out of the way. Just about like that, and then I'll get my box here. Get those put in it. Like I say, stick that in until you see the black insulation sticking through. Just about like that. See the black insulation right there. Take your drill. Do just like you did on the other one. Tighten one screw a little bit and then tighten the other screw a little bit. Try to hold your cord pretty straight here. Watch as you're going. Snug it up a little bit on each side. You can watch your wire. When you can tell it's starting to flatten out, that's good enough. Don't overdo it. It's pretty snug. Like I say, we're going to be using number 20 amp plug-in on this for its number 12 wire. You'll notice all these screws are loose and floppy. What you want to do is I usually, on a regular household outlet, I'll try to put my ground down. I think it looks better, and a lot of times, depending on what kind of cord you got, your cord will just hang better like that. Seems like it stays plugged in better. I'll end up picking out 2 screws. Your hot and your neutral go straight across. I'll pick the other 2 and just snug them up. The reason for that, if you've got this in a metal box and these screws here get loose, it makes that outlet do that. And if you got a screw here that's loose and it's sticking out and that hot screw gets up against that box, not going to be a good deal. And you can notice on these outlets, if you use them in your house, you can have one hot wire coming in here, a neutral wire coming in here, your ground wire coming in here, and also that'll make this side hot, which are these. And so you can have one circuit, one breaker running both of these, like a 20 amp. But it'll only hold 20 amp for both of them. What you can do also, if you'll look right here, it's got a little tab that connects this to that, this part to that part. You can take a screwdriver, got a little slot in there, or you can take Dykes side cutter, or you can take wire strippers. They got little teeth on the end here, and grab it. You can twist that off on both sides. You got to do both sides. And what that'll do, that'll separate this part of the outlet from that part of the outlet. And what you can do, you can have one breaker feeding this top a 20 amp, and then you can have another breaker feeding this screw, which would be this bottom part of this outlet. And you can actually have a 20 amp circuit here and a 20 amp circuit here, but you've got one plug. It's very easy to do, but we're not doing that right now. We're leaving it connected. Like I say, we're only going to have 20 amp on both of these. So it's good for like running a circular saw, and you get done with circular saw, you lay it down, you can pick up a drill instead of plugging and unplugging. But like I say, I wouldn't run them both together, especially if the extension cord is very long. It won't carry them. You'll usually end up tripping it out. Not always, but sometimes. But anyway, what we're going to start with, if you look inside your box here, we've got a screw right here. And what you want to do, what I like to do, since we got a metal box, I like to end up taking a ground wire. I want to make sure that I ground this green screw on the top of my outlet, or be actually the bottom of it. I want to ground this part of my outlet to this metal box. And the way I want to do that, I want to end up taking my wire strippers again. Like I say, this is number 12. Get in my little notch right here. Turn my plier just a little bit. Strip them out. Like I say, 1/4, 3/8 of an inch, usually pretty good. And what I'll end up doing, like I say, I've got my wires probably 6 or 8 inches long, maybe something like that. They may be a little long, but they're not bad. The reason you want to leave your wires a little long, if you ever have to get back into your outlet, your outlet's not that close where you can work. You always want to make sure you leave plenty of room where you can get your outlet out of your box and work on it. If your outlet breaks, goes bad, you can take it out and change it real easy. Real easy to do. These wires are very flexible. Very easy to do. So what I want to do first, I'm going to make up a pigtail. I want to make sure that I've got this box grounded to that outlet. This box grounded to that outlet with the screw on there, right there, just like that. So what we want to do here too, after we do that, I want to make sure that we've got both of these wires. I want to trim that off just a little bit. A little bit long. I've already got a Stacon put on there. Let me start with another wire and I'll show you. I've got it trimmed out here. These are Stacons. These go on the wire. Like I say, you only want to use these on this stranded wire. One that's got multiple wires on them. Do not use that on a single wire. It will not stay. It'll heat up and a lot of times it'll catch on fire. Do not use it. You look on my crimping pliers here. I've got a little recess with a tit on it. That's made to go in this little groove, just like that. And you want to make sure you stay just about 1/8 of an inch from the inside part here. That way you're on the crimping part. And then stick your copper in to where all your copper goes in, that you can't see any copper. You want to make sure you got an insulation back here where you can see it. Slide it in. Don't go too far. If you go out too far, you can't get your screw in it. Keep it out here, out of the way. I like that just pretty good. Do a little crimp. I like to do pretty hard. And that, man, that's gonna hold good. Like I say, you gotta have a tight connection. What I want to do now is come in here, and on this one I want to crimp off just about the same amount, about, I don't know, 3/8 of an inch, maybe something like that. Do a little twist to it. I'll come in here on my green wire. That's my ground. On my second notch, number 12, come in there about the same distance. Turn them and twist it out. Make sure that's together. I want to take another Stacon connector. And what you want to do, the wires here to act right. Want to hold them together. And usually two number 12s and a yellow one, but that's all you can get in there. Like I say, get it started, twist it. Like I say, you want to watch, make sure you've got no copper showing here. Make sure all you see is the insulation. Make sure it's twisted in pretty good. Got a little coming out, that's right. Take your crimpers again. Get them lined up about, you can still see about 1/8 of an inch. Put a little crimp to them. Make sure you get it pretty tight. Now what you want to do is take this first one that comes off of here, get it turned, take your Stacon. I always like to put a little crimp in it, just like that right there. Put a little crimp in it. Then you can take that wire. It'll usually, I can get where you can see it or not. It'll slide under that little notch, just like that. Push it up in there and hold it. Get my wire out of the way. Come on off there. That's got a 5/16 head on a 4-way screwdriver. You can take the big one off. It's 5/16 head. Keep holding your wire. Make sure your Stacon's under it. Once you get it snug, get a good grip, snug it pretty good. That ain't going nowhere. So what we got here, we've got your ground wire coming from your panel. It goes directly to your box. And then what you want to do, get your outlet right here in front of my face, and then take your Stacon and go right on your grounding screw, just like that. See if we can snug it up with this. I just use that to save a little time. You always put your hand ply, your screwdriver on it, and snug it up pretty tight. Make sure it's tight. Try to keep it straight. Make sure it's tight. Now I like to go to my neutral wire. That's my white wire. And like I say, what you want to do here pretty much the same what you did on your plug-in. Is look here, try to, you can see on your distance, you want to strip this wire to where you insulation does not go beyond your copper piece. Like I say, that's probably, let me get it here, that's number 12, going to second notch again. About 3/8 of an inch. I didn't get it all. About 3/8. Do a little twist to it again, clockwise. Want to make sure you get on your silver screw. And the one that's loose, make sure you've got it pushed all the way in. Take your wire. Yeah, I need to twist it just a little more. Take your wire. Make sure you keep it pushed in with it loose. Keep it pushed in. Come on now, get on it. It ain't loose enough yet. Hang on. Make sure both of them loose before I get on the other one. That's loose. Gotta have them loosened all the way out. That groove will open that up. Slide right up in there, and you want to look. Let me get it turned. Back up my wire just a little bit. Screwdriver. And like I show you, I'm talking silver screw here. The screw, not the copper part. That's copper. Make sure you look at the screw. If that's silver, that goes on your white wire. That's your neutral wire. On your hot wire, both of these are pretty much the same color. Both of them's copper. That's going to be your hot wire. So what you want to do, take your pliers, your strippers, come up here about 3/8 of an inch again. Do a little cut here. Do a little twist again. I done got my wire, all my nut, all my screw all loosened up here. Get it turned right. I'll go right directly across again. See what I'm talking about? Where you can still see a little bit of your copper here. That's what you want. You can see just a little bit of your copper. That way you know you don't have any insulation between your connectors here. See, right there, you can just barely see a little copper. That's what you want. Snug it up pretty good. That's tight. That's tight. That's tight. We're grounded good. A lot of times when you go putting boxes with connectors on them, whenever you go to put your screw in, a lot of time your screw here on this connector end will be too long. A lot of times when you go to tighten this screw up, it's going to hit your connector here before it tightens up. And what you want to do, if you have got a screw that's too long, won't tighten up, look on the side of your strippers here. See all these little holes? All these little holes are threaded for different size screws. What you want to do, I think this is a 6/32. Let's see here. You want to make sure, look on the back side and line up their holes, and make sure you can see through them good and clear. Take your finger, run that up just a little bit. May have to adjust your pliers to get it to where it turns good. You can look right here on your cutters where these two meet. Right here. You can look from here to there. That's going to be the length of that screw. The further you turn it in, the shorter it's going to get. You don't need it that short. I'd cut about 1/4 inch off of it. That's going from here to there. And what you want to do is just watch the back of it. Cut it right off. And then I usually open them up like that. Usually after you cut them, you're going to have to take a screwdriver to remove it. Well, that's pretty easy. That's good. It's cut off. It's ready to thread in. So what I like to do is you can come in here and collapse your wires. Make sure nothing's come loose. Make sure everything's pretty good shape here. I'll start with one little screw here. I usually take a hand screwdriver. Make sure they're starting. A lot of times if you take a drill and start them, you'll cross thread them. And I've seen so many people do that, and man, that's a no-no. You do that, you'll end up ruining your box. Line your hole up with your outlet here. Usually start pretty easy. That's the screw I just cut off. See how easy that went in there? I got it started. Now I'll take my drill, I'll center up my outlet on my box. I'll snug it up just a little bit here. Same way on that one. Get it centered up here. See how they go left and right? Try to keep it in the center. Snug it up just a little. Take you some good screwdriver. Klein makes good tools. That's what they're always get good tools. I've had them probably 25 years. Buy a good tool. Yeah, they'll last you a lifetime. Take care of it. Snug it up just a little bit. That looks nice. Let me put my wire down just a little bit there. Nice and straight. I like to take a metal cover. It just matches the box, and they'll hold up better than the old plastic cover. You just need to remember, if you're using this outside, this end will be waterproof as long as you put everything back like it's you're supposed to, whatever. Anyway, this one is not waterproof. You got open holes, water will get in it. Like I say, if you're outside using it in water and stuff, you just need to watch and be careful. That's pretty much with any extension cord. But that one is not waterproof. They make waterproof boxes. You can buy them. This is just one I usually use a lot because they are rugged. They hold up good. Just need to make sure you keep your screws tight so your end don't get pulled out. Same way here. Like I say, if you put them together right every now and then, once in a blue moon, check your screws. And these are bad about loosening up. And like I say, when you go to unplug a cord, don't unplug it with the cord. Use the ends. That's what they're for. That'll make your cord last you a lifetime. We're done here, guys. Hey, thank y'all for watching.